I sent them this morning. I just sent them not long ago. You should have them in your email.
I got him.
Hello?
Yes? Everything is ready to go. If you'd like to start the meeting, Mr. Brown, it's up to you. When you want to start. We have 4 minutes, so you probably don't want to do that yet.
Hello, hello?
Mr. Morgan, is that you?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you, but I can't see you.
I think that was Mr. Brown saying hello.
Okay.
Tony, I'm sorry, I have no video. I have no audio.
You can't hear us?
Yeah, maybe use the chat function to let him know that we can hear and see him.
I'm sending him one right now.
If David Morgan's mouth movements come before the speech, I don't know if that happens with anybody else. Sort of a delayed
I
reaction.
actually can't even see him. I don't see him.
Hello?
Connected to your meeting.
We can hear you, Larry. Maybe it's coming through your phone.
Hello?
Welcome
you
to
could
WebEx.
dial in, but
Press 1 to be connected to your meeting.
Hello?
Hello?
yes, finally.
Okay. There you are.
Oh, good. There's got to be a better way to do this. Anyway, I assume we have a quorum, if that's correct. So I'd like to call the February Building Commission meeting to order. Roll call. David Morgan.
Mr.
Here.
Brown, you're a couple minutes early. I think we
Okay.
should probably wait until 1,
Okay.
just
Well,
in case anybody else is going to join. So let's just hang on for a minute or two.
sure.
Thank you. All right, Tony,
Wendy,
are you
you're
all
there?
ready? We're at
I'm
1, so let's go ahead.
Okay, I'd like to call the regularly scheduled February meeting of the Columbus Building Commission to order. First item on the agenda is a roll call. David Morgan.
Here.
David. Mark Wagner.
Here.
Ralph Kramer.
Here.
David Lawrence. Mark Ciadelli. Guess that's it. May we move on to the agenda, the approval of the January minutes? And I'm confused, Tony, because I have 3 sets of January minutes here. Which one's which?
Oh, you should only have 2 sets of January minutes.
Well,
There should be January 2020 and then January 2021.
yes.
And that is because the January 2020 that I sent last month did not include,
Okay.
as Mr. Morgan mentioned, the election of officers. And
Okay.
I also saw on the transcript the section where Assistant Director Calabrese presented benchmarking. So I corrected the minutes from last January, and then this
Okay.
past January meeting minutes are there.
All right, gotcha. That's why I was confused. Okay, so
Okay.
everybody had a chance to read and review the January 2021 minutes? If so, I'd like a motion to approve.
I didn't, Mr. Brown.
I'm sorry?
I said I must abstain. That's okay.
Okay. May I have a motion to approve the minutes? Ralph?
I move that January 19th, 2021 Building Commission meetings minutes be approved.
Okay, second, please.
I'll second.
Dave? Okay, all approve? Say aye.
Aye.
All disapprove? Say nay. Okay, the minutes have passed. Did we need that, Tony, do we need to pass our January 2020 meeting minutes?
Yes.
Okay. Does everybody have a
Real
chance?
quick, I think Mr. Lorenz is still on mute, so I haven't heard. I've seen him talking, but couldn't hear him. So.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, so we're back in order.
Excuse
May I
me,
have a motion? I'm sorry?
excuse me.
May I have a motion to approve the January 21st, 2020 minutes?
Excuse me.
Yes, sir?
The roll call didn't have my name. I didn't hear my name for roll call.
Well,
The roll call
you're
is just for the board
testifying.
members.
Yeah, you're testifying today. You're not a member of the commission.
Oh, okay.
Okay? I have a motion. Do I have a motion to approve the January 21st, 2020 minutes revised?
Motion to approve the revised minutes.
Okay, Ralph, second, please.
Second it.
David, is that correct? Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the January 21st, 2020 minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
I'm sorry, Mr. Morgan, did you say you were abstaining from the minutes? Did you say you were abstaining from the minutes?
Well, yeah, I haven't seen them, so I don't abstain. That's all. Or voting.
Do you have them? Did you get the email?
Afraid to look, but lose my connection here on this computer. I'm not
Okay.
that savvy with things. I'll look after the meeting and see.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. I am thinking we have approved both sets of minutes. Moving on to the rest of the agenda. We have Adjudication Order A/02021-001 AMG. The applicant is Bernie Frankel. And is Bernie here?
Mr. Chair, if I may, Mr. Bruin, who's Bernie's supervisor, he's here.
Okay. All right, the Attorney General has asked, or the City Attorney has asked that we swear in all those that are testifying for this case. So if I may, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
Okay.
Mr.
Then,
Luong?
Yes,
Please swear.
I do.
Thank you.
Okay. We have everybody sworn in at this point. If you would, Mr. Frankel or his representative, please present your case.
Oh, yeah, let me, Bernie's having trouble logging in today. He's still working on it.
I'm on now.
Okay, Bernie's here now. We'll let Bernie open up then.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, Bernie needs to be sworn in.
Bernie, you need to be sworn in also. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right. All right, Mr. Frankel, please present your case.
Okay. A while back, I forget which day it was. Somebody said something about the 13th. Was it December 13th, something like that? I had an inspection at a strip center on Morris Road, and called the inspector. Parked in the back, came in through the kitchen, and they were very friendly, trying to get a final inspection for this restaurant space. And, we started with the paperwork, and I realized that there were some things that were missing on the paperwork. The framing was not signed, and they were looking for a final. So I looked up the notes, and I realized that they only had the wall framing approved, and they did not have any above ceiling work approved or fire rated assemblies completed. So, the customer is obviously very interested in getting this passed so they could open up. Intimated that, kind of pointed to his pocket, and I sort of said, no, don't, I wasn't sure exactly what he was getting at, but I had an idea. I said, no, don't worry about that. Let's see what else we can do. And I tried to do what I could to see if we had access to see what we needed to see. There's a ceiling that was built, drop ceiling in the back in the kitchen, and then a drywall ceiling in the front. And we went to the kitchen with the paperwork and looked up into the tile, because that was the easiest place to get to see if the walls were rated. The plans were not particularly clear about whether or not this was a separated or non-separated tenant space. And I could see that it looked like the space was separated. So they would need to have fire separation completed. And that was a problem. And I wasn't sure if they had everything they had taken care of or not. So looked there, back out to the front, and got on a ladder to look above the ceiling in a half. and to see if there were any holes in the rated assembly, if I could see the framing. And I did see a hole in one of the tenant separation walls, and I presumed that it was a rated wall. So I came down off the ladder and I said, I'm sorry, we can't, I can't go any further. This needs to be taken care of, and that's not something you can do now. And we really don't have access to see the rest of it the way that we should. So you'll have to deal with the supervisor, what I told him. So I went back to the paperwork, which I had dropped off in the kitchen. And next to the paperwork was a pile of cash sitting there. And I took a picture of it and just told the gentleman that, I can't do that. I know he wants to open up. He was a nice guy. There, it wasn't a scary situation by any means. It was just bizarre. And I took a picture just to document it. And I let him know that I couldn't do anything to help him out, that he needed to have more access to the ceiling so that we could approve the framing and the fire rate assembly. So after that, I gave him the supervisor's number, Kim Bruin, and he has since been working with Kim Bruin. I've not seen him since. So it wasn't a bad exchange, but obviously there's a pile of cash sitting there, and the presumption was that he wanted me to take that to be able to sign the final and have them be able to open up.
Can I speak on my behalf? Can I speak on my behalf?
Mr. Brown, you are muted.
Well, how about now?
Yes.
Okay, you may speak, Mr. Alex, please.
Everything he say is correct, but let me explain it. It's a misunderstanding. Let me remind him. He might recall. I had two of the guy was there on that day, the same day that they come to pick up their pay. So while he would do the inspection, I count the money to pay that two guy, and then he said he need Barney. He said he need to get on the ceiling, like he said he need to get up in the ceiling to see that on the ceiling where the drywall is. So I have to grab the ladder for him to get up there. So while I'm doing that, I left the cash there on the table in the kitchen, so I can go grab the ladder. So when that's a misunderstanding. The money that I left there I count the money to grab that to pay that two guy. I had two guy to be my witness to confirm that my speeding today. It's a myth.
I can't hear you, Mr. Long.
Because while he would do the inspection, I will count the money to pay that two pay him, and then Barney he need the ladder to get up in the ceiling. So I had to let the money there grab him the ladder.
If you
That's why
could
the money
hold
was there.
you keep cutting out. Mr. Long, your sound keeps cutting out, and I'm only getting part of what you're saying. Maybe if you just stand still while you're doing it.
Okay.
Like it's just cutting out. Thank you. I'm not hearing you at all right now. Cannot hear you. No. Can anyone else hear him?
Nope. Out of word.
Nope.
maybe you should call back in or try it again, Mr. LeLong. It's not working at all, no sound.
Hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yes.
Má cái thằng con cặc này gọi hoài luôn. Hello?
Yes.
Anybody
Go
hear
ahead.
me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes. We can hear you.
Okay.
Somebody from the city, tell me whether anything's transpired as far as him calling for other inspections, please. Please unmute yourselves.
Hello? I'm back in now.
Yes. Okay.
Hi. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So everything he say is true. But the only thing is misunderstanding is, can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
The only thing is misunderstanding is, yes, I did. While I'm count, I had 2 guys was there to get paid because when I do the final, I have to pay them at the final. So the day that he was there, while he doing I had an inspection. So while Barney doing the inspected, I count the money. I left on in the kitchen because I walk out there to grab the ladder so Barney can get up in the ceiling. So I had no intention to do anything that try to do something that is illegally. So I think it's a misunderstanding. There were 2 guys. I can have that 2 guys, bring them back here, and then we can have another meeting. Then I can prove that 2 guys that I did count that money to pay him that day because every job that I did, I had to pay them their final pay at the final inspection. And you check all last year I had 6 jobs and we don't have any problem with it. Even though that right now the situation that I have my architecture contact and try to situate a problem.
Please, can I hear somebody from the city chime in on this and let us know what is going on with his permit, please?
Yeah, Mr. Brown, this is Ken Bruin, Bernie's supervisor.
Yes.
We've not made any formal inspections out there since 12/7/2020. There was a couple of consultations and I met out there with him. We are trying to get revised drawings from the architect for the ceiling work that was done, the drywall ceiling work, and the drop clouds that are in the dining room. But the revisions are coming slowly, and the information that is being provided by the architect has not been very accurate. The architect has some limitations that are preventing him from being on the job site to actually assess what was constructed. If you recall, the ceiling was supposed to be left open and painted, and it is now a drywall ceiling with what we refer to as drywall drop cloud ceiling. So Alex and his design professional are working on trying to come up with drawings, revised drawings, so that we can proceed.
Well, we do have an inconsistency as far as maybe, I don't know, inconsistency, but misreading of what happened at that inspection. Mr. Long has presented one suggestion of what was intended, and Mr. Frankel has presented another. I don't know what the commission wants to do at this point. Short of, we could bring in the two people that were being paid supposedly, or once again, we can get this worked out with the city, and Mr. Long can work with the architect and get the city satisfied so we can get this thing settled.
I got the I had the email from my architecture saying that the revise had been reviewed and it had been approved already. And like I say, it was about the cat. He took a picture. It's a misunderstanding. I can bring my two guy in that. He said, because right now, probably they work somewhere. I don't know, but I can surely bring them back in, and we can have another meeting, prove that he was there to get paid, and that's the money that I count to pay them. And because I left it on the table, because I have to go grab the ladder for Barney to go up in the ceiling, look in the ceiling. And when he go up there, he look in the ceiling, in the dimension wall, he find there's a hole is not patched. So he stopped the inspection. He said that there's a hole need to be patched. Yeah, he have to talk to his exactly what he said. He had to talk to his supervisor, which is Ken Bruton. And then Mr. Ken had been go out there, and we discuss about it, and which area we have to take it down. So when he take a look, but he want me to have the engineering, which is my architect, to come out and take a look at it and have to revise all the drawing in order for me to call it re-inspection. And that's what I've been doing. And we just got approval for the revised from a notice from my architecture.
Any of the commissioners have anything to add or any questions to ask, please? Ralph, you're muted.
I didn't hang him the money. I didn't do anything. I count the money. And the reason I left it in the kitchen on the counter, because I had to go grab the ladder.
Okay, we understand your side of the story, please. I'm asking my commissioners whether they have anything to add or question.
I unmuted, Mr. Larry. I don't know if we're going to get anywhere on the money issue. That could be a long, drawn out situation. Don't you agree?
Yes, I agree.
So, I mean, we have two different positions. Unless you go to court or something, we're probably not going to get anywhere with it. Okay.
Yes.
And my opinion would be, let's move on with the permit process so he can get his inspections at whatever work he has to do to get approval. We move on and put a note somewhere that could have been an issue, could be an issue. And I don't know what the city does with it, but without some legal process, I don't think it's could go anywhere.
Mark or David, do you have any questions or responses, please? You're both muted.
I agree with Ralph on that. I think we just move forward.
Okay. Wendy,
Mr. Lorenz, you're still muted.
Yes.
Mr. Lorenz was trying to talk.
I have no further questions either, and I'm in agreement with Scott and Mark on their thoughts.
Okay, great. Do we have any wisdom from the city, Miss Wendy or Amit?
No wisdom for me. The code section that they cited him under is 410703. And that does say that the building commission may suspend for any period not exceeding 6 months or revoke any license or permit issued under the provisions of this building code for incompetency, unfair, unjust, inequitable, or fraudulent practices, or for violation of the laws of the state or the ordinances of the city relative to building. I don't know that you have found any of those issues here, because obviously, as Mr. Kramer suggested, there just is, two sides of the story. So unless you, find differently, I think your course of action or the, proposed course of action by Mr. Kramer sounds sufficient.
Thank you very much. All right, what's our pleasure to do? Mr. Kramer, would you like to present a motion?
So it sounds like right now, the corrections to the construction have not been made. Is that correct?
Correct.
I'd like to make a motion that we allow the contractor 30 days to correct any code violations and bring it up to par with what the city wants for inspections. And that is regarding,
go ahead.
and that is regarding adjudication order A/02021-001.
Have a second, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
All opposed? Motion passes that we're going to allow 30 days for the contractor to bring the construction up to code to satisfy the city. Okay.
Okay, so I kind of confused. Can you please explain the situation right now?
Okay. Well, what we've just approved is for you to give you 30 days to get your architect and the city up to speed and final inspect your project to make sure it all complies with the codes and the drawings.
Okay.
So you've got 30 days to get your final approvals.
Okay. And Mr. Bruin, may I ask Mr. Bruin question? Ken Bruin?
Yes.
Mr. Ken, what is the status of my situation right now? Because I just got my architecture saying that we had a new examiner and that they already approved, and I had the email saying that he had approved it last Friday. So is after he approval, what is my next step need to be done in order for me to get final?
If you've got the approved plans, the city
the reviser.
Yes, if you've got the revised drawings, the city would have notified you. You need to pick those drawings up. You have to remove, and once you pick those drawings up, you have to remove a considerable amount of the drywall so that I can perform the proper inspections. I cannot do the inspections with the drywall in place.
Okay. So the area that we were discussing about, that's the area you want me to take it down.
The drywall ceiling, yes, in the dining room area, yes.
I got it. All right.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Long. Thank you all.
Mr. Brown, can I jump back in here real quick? Mr. Kramer, I think maybe we need to amend your motion to state that if he's not in compliance in 30 days, he may be brought back before the board.
Sure, I'd like
that it? Okay.
I'd like to amend my motion that if the work is not completed and permitted in 30 days, we have the right to bring them back to further review. And make
Do we
one a
have a
different.
second to that amendment?
And I had another question because everything now we had to go through the email. I'm paying rent right now. I want to get it done. We want to get it done and get it open too. That's my point. But every time, every I try to contact the city, I go through answer machine and I don't get a response. And even the paperwork is delayed right now. That I've been paid 3 month rent already. It's $5,000 a month. I want to get it open and make it money. Absolutely, I want to get it open. But the thing is, paperwork have been delayed and delayed. Even my architecture, every time we submit, we have to sit there and wait at least 2 weeks to get it back. So
I'm sure Mr. Bruin will do his best to get back to you as soon as possible, correct, Ken?
That is correct.
So have you, Mr. Ken, have you had any information about my revised plan?
I have not. I talked to Mark Heckenmuller, who is the plans examiner that was or is handling your revision. And Mark has, it was, I believe, about 2 weeks ago, Mark was still in conversation with your architect because the last plan submittal did not have all the information that was required. So Anthony, your architect, was he was calling Anthony to obtain more information on the last plan revision.
We have an amendment to the motion. I need a second on that amendment, please.
I'll second.
All right. All in favor of the amended motion? Aye.
Aye.
All right,
All opposed? All right, motion passes as amended. Thank you, Mr. Long.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to our next agenda item, it's adjudication order AO 2021-003, David Wan and Mr. Ziegler. Are you in the We're done with you, Alex, please.
Okay, so I can leave the meeting right now?
Yes, you may.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. The city attorney's asked anybody is responding in testimony to this adjudication order be sworn in. You all that are testifying swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I need a verbal, please.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. If you would, Mr. Ziegler, would you state your case, please?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for the time today. I am representing David Wan. He's the owner on record. The address is 4989 Postal Wait Road. This is a residence. There is a church on the same parcel of land. This residence acts as a parsonage, and one of his family members lives there along with some church volunteers. So they live on the first floor of the current property there, and they've asked us to remodel their basement, allowing some additional space there. We met in February of 2020, and our plans were approved by Mr. Taylor, Tyrone Taylor, except for the fact that we have a low ceiling height in that basement. The house is about 100 years old. The upstairs has been completely remodeled, but the basement has had two issues. Down there, we have about 25 feet of HVAC running down there at a very low ceiling height. It's about 72 inches. And then we have a structural beam that is running, and that's at about 73 and a half inches. So we applied for an adjudication in 2020. It was going to be scheduled in March or April, but then COVID hit. So we were kind of waiting in the loop until we were able to appear to argue our case that we ultimately would love not to move anything. But in talking with Mr. Taylor on the phone in January, in lieu of this meeting, we reached a compromise where we can move some of our HVAC, we can shrink the ductwork and put in wall on the ceiling and then run a soffit to one of the walls and divert that air where we can get that to 76 inches in the basement. But the structural beam is a little bit more intensive to move. If we would raise it and put joist hanger, raise it into the ceiling joist and put joist hangers on it, it blocks the way for it. We could run vent underneath it, but it wouldn't work with the design layout down there. It's getting in the way of a door that goes into another area, and I don't see a way to do that. And if we would try to take that beam out and put steel in there, we're going to sink another $5,000 into that. We're already sinking $5,000 to move the lower HVAC run. So we're taking the 72-inch blockage out of the way and making that 76. And we're asking for permission to keep the structural beam in place, where we're currently about 73 and a half inches. I'm taking a little bit of that floor out with grinding. I don't want to make too much of a dip in the floor, but we can get it pretty close to 74 inches. And that's what we are asking permission just to keep that beam in place. Now, there's only an 11 and a half foot walkway that beam interferes with, because we've incorporated the rest of that beam into closet space for 2 bedrooms that are sharing half of that length. And then it's above a central closet underneath the stairs. So really we're dealing with a 74-inch obstacle along an 11 and a half foot walkway. And we're asking for permission to keep that as is.
Does the city have any response, please? Amit? Can somebody from the city please unmute themselves and respond? Do any of my commissioners have any questions?
I have a question. So the basement is going to be used for bedrooms? Is that it? We don't have we don't have a plan. I don't see any drawings or anything.
Okay, so
Were those?
Mr. Taylor's got our plans, but yes, so we have drawn in 3 bedrooms in the basement. There on the upper layer, which we were talking about where the obstruction is, there would be 2 bedrooms. We've already installed the egress windows to those when we waterproof the basement. So that permit fell under this permit. That work has been done. There are 2 egress windows. And those 2 bedrooms would be on the upper level. It's hard to see. I don't know if this is going to do any justice. The bedrooms are on the east side of the house, and this beam runs across that way. So these bedrooms would share closet space where that beam intersects.
And that takes out the issue of the beam, because we're going to take those 2 bedrooms and close those off with a closet. So that takes the beam out of the equation, and the stairs are here. So that takes that out of the equation. The only area we now are contending with is this 11-foot area that's from the wall to
right
the
here.
stairs.
Can you raise that drawing up, your name? Up, yeah, like that. Oh, down now. So
There you go.
does the beam block the access? Is it in the way of the egress path to the stairs to the first floor?
Okay, only for one of the bedrooms. The first bedroom is direct access to the stairs out the bedroom door. The second, that's this, you can go right up the stairs. The second room has an egress window coming out that way, but if you go upstairs, then that beam is blocking that. And that's what
We're within 2 inches of
Yeah.
it being where we need it to be.
Yeah, it's 74 rather than 76 on that walkway.
Mr. Ziegler,
Yes.
is that Terry Summers that spoke behind you? Is that Terry Summers?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I think you've done a nice job about moving the duct and all of that. I don't know that you could do much more about that beam short of calling attention to it so somebody doesn't knock their head open.
What we're going to do on that is, I'm sorry, yeah, I'm just going to tell you our plan is the ceiling's going to have a white drywall finish, and I'm going to put a dark brown stain on that wood beam.
Oh, that'll show it.
That was our thought. We thought, well, we could even paint it yellow if we needed to.
They don't want us to paint yellow from the house. I'll tell you, they don't. They're very design conscious.
Orange.
they are telling me, please don't. I said, hey, how about a nice dark brown stain, and we have the ceiling white. Oh, yes, yes, yes.
So right now, there are no bedrooms in the basement.
We haven't built them yet because we're kind of on hold. Before we framed the bedrooms in, I wanted to, have this meeting so we can. We're just in a permit application status. I can't really pull permits yet. So we wanted to resolve this first, then go according to our plans.
What's on the first floor?
There are 3 bedrooms on the first floor.
Is there a second floor?
There is not. Now this basement also will have an egress stairway to a sunken area, which is not, there's no problem. It's got a 9-foot ceiling. It's over here. And that was fine. Mr. Taylor approved that. That's a total separate exit, but that'll be the 3rd bedroom on the basement level.
What's the use group of this building?
It's residential, single family. It's a parsonage. So the volunteers from the church living on the first floor, and they want to expand it, a lot more volunteers in the basement.
It falls under the single family code.
Well, that was a discrepancy for a while, but even with conversations with the city on that, I think that has been resolved. There is a commercial use of the church the church itself in the back parking lot. The residence is up front on the same parcel of land, but it's a single family residence.
It's not considered a boarding house or anything, like an R2? I mean, R3 or whatever. R1, no, R1's boarding house, I think.
I know Mr. Ghosh was involved in that conversation, and we have to go through some kind of procedure with the city to differentiate the different uses on the property. And I think Tyrone was going to work with us on that, but I haven't received instruction on how to differentiate that. But yeah, it's single family residence.
Now, typically our past protocol with adding basements or sleeping rooms in basements is to augment some life safety. This had been a past track record. And those would include exit emergency lighting for better lighting with a beam there. And of course, sleeping, you're going to have smoke detectors in each bedroom in common.
Yes.
Correct?
Yep.
Yes.
Which is residential code. You have smoke detectors upstairs now, or are planning to put them in, correct?
Yes.
And also in some of our past protocol, we've asked for the smoke detection system to be monitored. Isn't that correct, Larry and others?
That is correct. We have asked that before.
Yeah. Actually, in most cases where we put bedrooms in the basements, tell the truth.
Would your client be willing to do those things?
Yeah, certainly. So you're talking about a monitored smoke detection system? I think they'd be extremely open to that.
Yeah, monitored. And then we probably like an exit light with heads at the bottom of the stairs and maybe another emergency light back towards the other bedroom for egress illumination.
Okay, the egress is in the bedroom.
It's in the bedroom. The egresses are in the bedroom.
Yeah, they're in both bedrooms.
So that stairs comes down in a bedroom.
No.
Stairs comes down immediately to your right. There's a bedroom door. I call that bedroom 1. In bedroom 1, there is an egress window. If you go left from the stairs, you go through that walkway, and then there's another door into bedroom 2. Inside bedroom 2, there's an egress window.
This would be illumination to the stairs. There's the,
Okay.
say, main means of egress. The windows back up in case the stairs don't fire, of course.
Okay, so if we put one in the stairway and one in the beam area,
Right.
we should be fine.
From what I can see on your plans, I mean, still
Okay.
not having hard copies in front of us.
Gotcha.
Right, that would be the plan or the proposal from our end.
Yeah, all those things sound very doable. I mean, we've went through a lot of things with the homeowners to get them to where they're at now, especially with the ductwork moving and everything they've done to, you know, accommodate what they need to make this happen for them.
So yeah, I think these are doable solutions on our part.
Okay.
Do we have any comments from the city, please?
Did a Met drop off? I don't see a Met anymore.
See him on here, but he's not muted, so I'm not sure what's going on.
It shows he's there, but it doesn't.
Well, lacking comments from the city, may I have a motion for this adjudication order, please? Ralph, you pretty much sensed what you wanted to do, so why don't you go ahead and make the motion, please?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion regarding adjudication order A/02021-003. That the life safety in the basement sleeping area be augmented to include an emergency egress light. It's an exit light with 2 heads at the bottom of the stairs and a double-headed emergency light in the area past the beam to allow for illumination of egress towards the stairs. And those would have an 1.5 hour, 90-minute battery backup. And that the smoke detectors installed in the bedrooms and in the common areas be tied in with the smoke detectors upstairs and be monitored through a monitoring service.
Do we have a second on that motion, please?
Second.
All right. All in favor of that motion? Aye.
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 All opposed? Motion passes. I guess if you go ahead, Mr. Ziegler, and make those changes and then present it to the city, everything should go through.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. That's all that we had on our agenda, as far as that I can see on the agenda. Do we have some things from the floor that need to be discussed?
Nothing that I know of.
Okay, well, so this whole benchmarking, is that for another date?
That was for the January meeting of 2020. That was what you approved. I just attached it so you all would be reminded what you forwarded on to City Council.
Okay, so that goes along with the 2020 meeting in January then. Okay.
Yes.
I must have missed that meeting myself because I don't remember it.
I don't either.
Of course, since everything is on the hell in a handbasket, we don't remember anything anymore. May I have a motion to adjourn, please? I know you're dying, Ralph. Go ahead. The February meeting is adjourned. We'll see you all in whatever the next month is, March. And Tony, can we? I think, I don't know what's going on with this. You're muted and then you're not muted, and then aren't they? If you're unmuted, aren't you supposed to stay unmuted?
What happened during one of the presentations, I went in and muted everybody except the speaker because there was a lot of feedback. but you should be able to unmute yourself. I didn't do it again after
Yeah, but-
because I noticed there was confusion.
I guess it's a matter of getting used to it because, you know, I started talking, I thought I was unmuted, and all of a sudden, nobody can hear you. And the other thing I object to is having these miscellaneous caller 1 and caller 2 and caller 5. I don't have a clue who those people are, and I want names on those callers. Okay?
Okay.
It's just not, it's not fair to everybody on the commission. We don't know who's talking, we don't know who they are. And you know, I want to know who every attending this meeting is, okay? So make sure that happens.
Mr. Brown,
All right, thank
Mr. Brown,
you.
can I, this is
Yeah.
Wendy, real quick. In my defense, at least, my audio on my computer doesn't work, so I had to call in from my phone, so that's why I'm on, but then also a call-in user. But you can feel free, when somebody starts talking, tell them to stop and identify themselves.
Okay.
When they start talking.
I will certainly do that. I mean, and I knew you were on because your name's on one of the boxes here, Wendy. So.
Right, I know, but I understand, you know, what you're saying about having just, you know, blank call-in users. I don't know how to fix that. I mean, it's been almost a year and I still haven't figured it out. So.
I can understand that because I still haven't figured out how to make my voice unmute anymore. Anyway,
I know.
I guess the other thing I want to. Not only that, I don't like call-in user 5, but I want people's complete name. Ken did not show his complete name. I have no idea who he is. Okay?
Yeah, and sometimes that just happens with the, I don't know, your computer setup. I'm not a techie person, so I do not know how it works.
Neither am I. I can understand that. All right. Thank you very much for your patience and attention, and we'll do this in March.
Thank you.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.
Thank you.